A very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be taking you through the day's top stories. So let's start with the headlines. The impasse continues in Parliament. Proceedings are disrupted on the last day of the second week of the monsoon session as well. Government calls for all-party meeting on Monday. Congress party says it will attend only if it gets a concrete proposal in response to its demands. After a stateless existence of 68 years, thousands of residents look forward to the landmark exchange of 162 enclaves between India and Bangladesh. 2 out of 4 Indians captured by the Islamic State militants in Libya are released. Government says it is in regular touch with the families of the hostages. And Cyclone Komen and heavy rains trigger flood-like situation in many parts of the country. But our top story this evening, dark clouds continue to hover around the monsoon session, with a standoff between the government and the opposition disrupting proceedings even on the last day of the second week. The Congress-led opposition remained firm on resignation of the tainted ministers, but the government has once again ruled out removal of its ministers and insisted on discussions.
Tainted ministers in the Lalit Modi controversy and Vyapam scam continue to face the heat of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. A notice for suspension of business demanding the Prime Minister's response was tendered yet again.
If the motion which you, Chair has referred to, then the motions have been clear that the Prime Minister responds to our demand for accountability and action. So it is the House. Executive has the accountability to the Parliament.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurin contended that earlier also motions were allowed but not moved by the opposition. The government also alleged that Congress was shying away from constructive debate.
See, last week at least 2 or 3 times I allowed the suspension of the business and allowed the motion to be moved. Sir. But you did not move the motion. Sir, today, are you ready to move the motion? Yes, allow me. That is all what I am asking.
हमारे नेता ने कहा, हमने कहा, नकवी साहब ने कहा, हम बहस के लिए तैयार हैं। आज भी करें, अभी बहस करिए। हम तैयार हैं उसके लिए। लेकिन एक बात से बात करें।
But government's attempts failed to pacify Congress members who forced adjournment till noon.
House is adjourned up to 12:00 noon.
Even during the question hour, the stalemate did not subside as the government clarified that none of the ministers would resign. It led to 2 more adjournments.
मैं नरसिम्हा राव जी जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, मैं पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स 5 साल उनके साथ रहा। उस वक्त हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर का मुद्दा आया तो मैंने प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताया कि विपक्ष की डिमांड है कि फॉरेन मिनिस्टर को रिजाइन देना चाहिए।
माननीय नेता विरोधी दल को भी, उनकी पार्टी को भी हम बार-बार कह चुके हैं, आप जिस मुद्दे पर भी डिस्कशन चाहते हैं, डिबेट चाहते हैं, हम तैयार हैं। ये कहते हैं हम डिबेट नहीं करेंगे।
Post-lunch session 2 saw no reconciliation. Expressing hopes of a constructive third week and resolution of deadlock between the government and the opposition, the chair adjourned the House till Monday. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh today gave a statement in Lok Sabha on the Gurdaspur terror attack. He informed the House that the attack was carried out by terrorists who had come in from Pakistan. Going beyond his written statement, Singh accused the previous UPA government of weakening the fight against terror by politicizing the issue. Unhappy with that remark, the opposition demanded that it be expunged from the proceedings.
In a statement about the Gurdaspur attack of 27th July, Home Minister Rajnath Singh informed the House that one of the terrorists infiltrated into the country via the Tars region. The minister said that even though the country's security forces were alert, terrorists had infiltrated using the swelling rivers for cover.
पाकिस्तान से गुरदासपुर जिले के तास क्षेत्र, जहां रावी नदी पाकिस्तान में प्रवेश करती है, से घुसपैठ की है।
After reading out his written statement, the Home Minister accused the opposition, especially the Congress party, of politicizing the issue of terrorism.
एक तरफ उनकी शहादत हो और दूसरी तरफ आतंकवाद जैसे सवाल पर भी इस सदन में शोर शराबा हो, कैसे अध्यक्ष महोदया यह देश इसे स्वीकार कर। यूपीए सरकार के गृह मंत्री ने जो उस समय स्टेटमेंट दिया था और जो उन्होंने हिंदू आतंकवाद जैसी एक नई टर्मिनोलॉजी का इजाद किया था, उसके परिणाम स्वरूप पाकिस्तान के हाफिज सईद ने भारत सरकार के गृह मंत्री को बधाई दी।
The Home Minister's statement evoked sharp reactions from both the Congress and the TMC.
The statement what he made just to divide this house and to blame Congress. No, to blame Congress during Congress period. What they have done, what in China is done, what in other places. Is it necessary?
Okay, all right.
Was it necessary? What? Just to defame the previous government. You are making politics and we don't tolerate that. Whatever extra he said, apart from the statement, it should be extra.
The Home Minister went into a rampaging speech where he accused people of having raised Hindu terrorism, where he raised the question of Saram al-Sheikh. Now, when the House was totally united on the matter of rooting out terrorism from the country, this statement by the Home Minister was against the rules because it was not circulated. And it brought a division in the House.
Responding to the opposition, the government said it was ready to have a discussion in the House on the Gurdaspur terror attack. With inputs from Pranav Goswami and Shyam Sundar, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, in a bid to end the ongoing logjam in both houses, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu has called an all-party meeting for Monday. The government says it wants to run the House, taking the opposition along, and was ready to discuss any issue within the rules of the House. But the Congress party says that an all-party meet will have no standing if the government does not give a concrete proposal to deal with the opposition's demands. The government, however, has shown no inclination to relent to opposition demands, and with both sides staying put on their respective stands, it will have to see what the outcome of Monday's meeting is.
We are willing to walk an extra mile to meet the demands of the opposition, so that the Parliament can run in a bipartisan manner. And we have lived up to our words. Sarkar hamesha opposition, particularly Congress को वो मुख्य विपक्ष ना होने के बाद भी, रिकॉग्नाइज्ड अपोजिशन ना होने के बाद भी उनको अकोमोडेट करने के लिए हम तैयार है। लोकतंत्र में संख्या से ज्यादा थोड़ा स्पिरिट होना चाहिए और सरकार तैयार है। सरकार सभी विषयों के बारे में खुले मन से डिस्कस करने के लिए तैयार है। हम लोकतंत्र में पार्लियामेंट ज्यादा दिन चले इसमें विश्वास करते हैं।
It is an unfortunate and unprecedented situation that collectively the opposition leaders are telling the government, break your silence, respond. And it's the government's arrogance, it's government's obduracy, I'm repeating my words, which is squarely responsible for this present stalemate. We leave it to the Prime Minister. We are urging the Prime Minister, break your silence, Shri Narendra Modi, respond, act, and let the Parliament function.
And now to our special focus this evening. India and Bangladesh will officially swap lands tonight, implementing the historic land boundary agreement signed by the two nations. This will end one of the world's most difficult border disputes that has kept thousands of people in stateless limbo for almost 70 years. Here's a report.
What was inked last month in Dhaka will now be implemented on the border. Around 50,000 people residing in enclaves on the Indo-Bangladesh border will taste newfound freedom at midnight. Officials of two nations will hoist their respective national flags in 162 enclaves, 111 in Bangladesh and 51 in India at 1 minute past midnight. New PIN codes will be issued to these areas on the Indian side. Over the last few weeks, officials of both nations conducted survey in the enclaves, asking the residents to choose their choice of nationality. Majority of them living in Indian enclaves in Bangladesh opted for Bangladeshi citizenship, but nearly 1,000 people on the Bangladesh side opted to keep their Indian nationalities, meaning they will leave their homes by November for India, where they will be resettled in West Bengal. In India, all of the Bangladeshis living in the 51 Bangladesh enclaves decided to switch nationalities. The enclaves date back to ownership arrangements made centuries ago between local princes. The parcels of land survived partition in 1947 after British rule and Bangladesh's 1971 War of Independence with Pakistan. The land accord was originally agreed in 1974 by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The progress of the accord stopped for a long time after Mujibur was assassinated in 1975 and subsequent governments failed to agree on the transfer of enclaves. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, for more on this story, we're now joined by our correspondent Neelu Vyas, who in fact has been tracking every development related to the land boundary agreement. Neelu, the phrase "at the stroke of midnight" assumes another significance, historical significance for India and now Bangladesh as well.
Absolutely, Tracy. Today I was there in that place about 2 years ago, and now when this deal is actually being operationalized, I really remember Nehru's speech at the stroke of the midnight hour, when people will actually get to taste the freedom. As we are speaking right now, in enclaves like Mashal Danga and also in the Bangladeshi enclaves, the celebrations, the festivities have actually begun. As we are speaking right now, I was talking to a few people just a short while back there, and they were saying that it's really a scene of jubilation, though not many people from the center or the state government, the state officials are not to be seen in very large numbers because of the mourning which is happening over the 7 days period over Kalam's death. But to tell you the real significance, these 50,000 inhabitants of the enclave dwellers who've been staying all these years for almost 6 decades, they have been leading a life of deprivation. They have been actually staying in obscurity. And tonight at 12, they at least can claim who they are. They are Indians or Bangladeshis. That's their call now.
That's quite significant in itself, absolutely, Neelu, like you're pointing out. But just if you could give us an idea, what is the procedure that will be followed from now? What would be seeing in the next few days, or for that matter, the few minutes, in fact, after this is actually announced that this is India land and this is Bangladeshi land?
Tracy, at 12, we are told that obviously after the flag hoisting and the national anthems on both sides, the Bangladeshi dwellers probably will sing their national anthem, and so forth. The same thing is going to happen on the Indian side. The lowering of the flags will take place, and then the biggest worry actually begins after that, because then the focus, of course, would be on the rehabilitation package, which was decided according to the joint survey, which was conducted in July, in the early period of July. So now the biggest challenge, which is the rehabilitation package, as to how the land is going to be accorded, how many houses are going to be given. Remember that it's just about 950 families who are going to cross over from Bangladesh. Not many Indian inhabitants have gone on the Bangladeshi side. So that, of course, is a very big challenge for the state officials and also for the central officials at the moment.
Also, since we are talking about the challenges that, the people and for that matter, officials would be facing there, we were reading a lot of reports, and you had also, explained to us as well that there is a lot of apprehension on the Indian side especially. Can you give us some idea really of what it is going to be, the challenge, to make sure that security, law and order, everything is properly maintained there?
Tracy, the biggest apprehension right now is that the rehabilitation package, which has been discussed amongst the officials, that has not been made public. That is the biggest worry, because the people who are crossing over from Bangladesh to the Indian side, just about 1,000 people, but the officials also don't know when the package is publicized, it's made open to them, whether they will accept that package or not. Because if at all there is a possibility and they don't accept that package, there is a possibility again that they might go back to Bangladesh. There could be agitations. Remember, at the moment when the deal is being operationalized, even then, a lot of politics is happening, because there was an exchange coordination committee which was actually spearheading the cause of the enclave dwellers all this while. So it's not that the agitations have rested. It has rested for a while, but then the biggest challenge again is how this rehabilitation package will be worked around. Remember, it's a 3,000 crore package which the central government has worked around. But the finer contours still we don't know, because how the people crossing over from Bangladesh. How will they react to the package? Whether they will accept it or not, whether they will go back. A lot of agitations again could happen. So again, it could pose a law and order situation.
All right, we do hope, of course, everything goes on smoothly. Neelo Vyas, thanks so much for joining us with those details. At least for the moment, this is a positive development. Both sides of the border, of course, excited about it, and we'll be tracking developments here on Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, let's get you some more news. And 2 of the 4 Indian teachers who were abducted in Libya have been released and brought back to the University of Sirte. All four, in fact, had been living in Libya for over a year. They were detained at a checkpoint while on their way back to India. Here are the details.
2 out of the 4 Indian teachers kidnapped in Libya have been released. All 4 of them were abducted while returning to India from Tripoli. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj tweeted that even as the government was happy that the release of 2 Indians has been secured, it was trying for the other 2 as well. The 2 released Indians have been brought back safely to the University of Sirte. However, it was not immediately known how they were freed. Earlier in the morning, Swaraj had briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi about the incident as also the steps being taken by the ministry to secure their release.
2 days ago, on July 29th, at around 11 p.m., our mission in Tripoli came to know that 4 Indian nationals who were returning to India via Tripoli and Tunis were detained at a checkpoint approximately 50 kilometers from Sirte. Of the 4 Indian nationals, 2 are from Hyderabad, 1 from Raichur and 1 from Bengaluru. 3 of them were faculty members at the University of Sirte and 1 was working at the Sirte University's branch in Jufra.
Sources say no ransom demand has been made yet. The government had issued an advisory last year in July asking its citizens to leave Libya. The fact that the 4 Indians were abducted means that they ignored the warning. The incident comes even as 39 Indian construction workers remain missing in Iraq. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With a quick break here, up next, England goes 2-1 up in the Ashes after beating Australia by 8 wickets in the 3rd test. More details ahead. Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Let's get you some more national news. And heavy rains have triggered a flood-like situation in various parts of the country. While coastal states of Odisha and West Bengal are battling floods due to the cyclone, Rajasthan is grappling with excess seasonal rains. Lack of preparedness of the civic authorities has only added to problems for the people.
The flood situation in West Bengal and Odisha turned grim on Friday with heavy rains caused by Cyclone Komin affecting many districts and displacing lakhs of people. Odisha is battling floods in Jajpur, Mayurbhanj, Keonjhar, Bhadrak and Balasore districts. 3 people have died while more than 4 lakh people have been displaced. The state government has now issued a fresh flood alert.
So we have predicted rainfall will be at many places with the heavy to very heavy rainfall for coastal districts and adjoining Mayurbhanj districts. But after 24 hours, the rainfall amount would increase.
In West Bengal, flood alert was issued in East Midnapur, North and South 24 Parganas, Hooghly, Howrah, Birbhum and Bardwan. Close to 26,000 people from 7 districts were moved to relief camps. Meanwhile, in Rajasthan, life is limping back to normal. Residents of Jalore, Sirohi and Nagaur districts grappled with floods in the past week. Thousands of people had to be evacuated from their homes.
घर बहुत गिर चुके हैं सब पानी की वजह से और एनडीआरएफ टीम के उसको मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं उसने बहुत मदद की है
550 के लगभग लोगों को इवैक्यूएट कर लिया है इसके अलावा कुछ मवेशियों को भी निकाला है
The Met Department has predicted cloudy weather in the entire state over the weekend with the possibility of moderate to heavy rains. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And with that, let's get you the latest updates from across the country in Nationwide. Lending his support to the agitating students of FTII in Pune, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi today said that the RSS is undermining the institution's stature by promoting mediocrity. The students are protesting the appointment of Gajendra Chauhan as its chairman. The students, along with supporters from other educational institutes and organizations, will now take out a rally from Jantar Mantar to Parliament House on Monday in support of their demands. The Supreme Court today asked the CBI to take over in 3 weeks all the cases arising out of the Vyapam scam in Madhya Pradesh. The agency also requested 5 special courts in Bhopal to be converted to CBI courts so that they could initiate prosecution. Former Jharkhand Chief Minister Madhu Koda, Rajya Sabha MP Vijay Darda and 7 others were today put on trial by a special court in connection with a case related to alleged irregularities in allocation of a coal block in Jharkhand. All pleaded not guilty to the charges framed against them and claimed the trial, after which the date for admission or denial of documents has been fixed for the 17th of August. Amid tight security, a batch of 418 pilgrims left for the cave shrine of Amarnath in South Kashmir. Over 3 lakh pilgrims have visited the shrine so far during this year's pilgrimage. Now to a special report. A private agency has estimated that the number of Indian billionaires and millionaires has nearly tripled in the last decade. While that could be reason enough to cheer, the sad truth is that the number of poor people has also gone up manifold during the same period. The government, however, refuses to comment on this, claiming that the data has nothing to do with its agencies.
A blow to the economic trickle-down theory. In the last 10 years, Indian billionaires have grown nearly 300%, from 26 to 68 in 2014. But correspondingly, on the other end of the spectrum, 60 years after independence, 75% or more than 85 crore Indians still survive on less than $2 a day.
The number of downtrodden, the number of people living below the poverty line is also rising alarmingly as per the World Bank Human Development Report, United Nations Human Development Report 2014 and 15.
The United Nations Human Development Index estimates that 28% of Indians live in severe multidimensional poverty. 1/3 live below $1.25 a day. In the poverty rankings, India comes at 135th position, behind even African countries like Namibia and Nicaragua. In its reply to the Rajya Sabha, the government refused to comment on the findings.
I am not at all satisfied because government has tried to evade the question, which is really unfortunate.
Private consultancy firm Knight Frank says ultra-high net worth individuals or those who have wealth over $30 million have also gone up to 1,652 in 2014 from 622. What's more, 27% of 43,400 high net worth Indians owning wealth over $1 million migrated to other countries. The government doesn't want to comment on the findings since the data wasn't collected by its agencies. Krishnanand Tripaঠি's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And now some international news. And Malaysian officials have confirmed that a part of the plane debris found in the Indian Ocean is that of a Boeing 777 aircraft. A transport official said the photos show that the wing component bears a part of the number from an aircraft similar to that of the missing Malaysian Airlines flight. The confirmation has increased possibilities of finally solving the mystery of the missing MH370, which disappeared over a year ago with 239 people on board. The Australian officials are confident that the wreckage is part of the ill-fated flight. However, an official confirmation will be issued by Boeing only after a thorough investigation, which could take a few days. The 2-meter-long piece of wreckage, known as a flaperon, has been sent to France for a detailed analysis.
There's strong evidence to suggest that the wreckage found on Reunion Island does come from a Boeing 777. That has not yet been confirmed, but the pictures that are available for people to examine are certainly consistent with the parts from the wing of a Boeing 777.
And now let's get you more international news updates in Global Buzz. Unidentified gunmen opened fire at an election campaign rally in the Sri Lankan capital of Colombo today, killing a woman and wounding at least 12 others. The attackers sprayed bullets into the crowd just after the finance minister, Ravi Karunanayake, left the venue. This is the first major incident of violence ahead of the August 17th parliamentary polls. Election monitors expressed surprise at the shooting in Colombo, where security is tight and campaigning has been mostly peaceful. A Palestinian toddler has been killed in an arson attack in the West Bank, suspected to have been carried out by Jewish settlers. The 18-month-old boy was killed in the nighttime attack on 2 homes in the village of Duma. His parents, brother and another child were injured. Slogans in Hebrew, including the word revenge, were found sprayed on a wall of one of the houses. Chad reintroduced the death penalty just 6 months after its abolition on Thursday as legislators passed a stringent anti-terror bill in the face of a spate of deadly attacks by the Boko Haram. After enduring 2 suicide bombings in a month, Chad has beefed up security in recent weeks. It has also deployed thousands of soldiers as part of a boosted multinational force to fight the militants. Let's change tracks now, get you some sports news in Sportsbeat. England beat Australia by 8 wickets in the third test with more than 2 days to spare. Chasing a target of 121 in the second innings, England wrapped up the match without much risk. Ian Bell saw them through safely with an unbeaten 65. England now lead the Ashes series 2-1 with 2 more tests to go. Tokyo Olympics organisers have denied any problem with their new logo after discussions arose about possible plagiarism. The emblem, which was unveiled last week, had already received mixed reviews from the Japanese public, with internet commentators suggesting there was a resemblance to an overseas design. Japan is preparing to host the Summer Olympics for the second time in 2020. Beijing beat Kazakhstan's Almaty to bag the rights to host the 2022 Winter Olympics. IOC delegates handed the 2022 Olympic and Paralympic events to Beijing following a secret ballot in Kuala Lumpur. This came after Chinese President Xi Jinping made a last-minute vow to host the event worthy of the honor. The Chinese capital will be the first city to host both a summer and winter games after having hosted the 2008 Olympics. Recurve archer Mangal Singh Champia booked a quota for the next year Rio Olympics after reaching the quarterfinals of the individual event at the ongoing World Archery Championships. Asian Games gold medalist Rajya Chauhan also guaranteed India a medal after easing past through Colombia's Camilo Cardona in the semis. However, India's biggest medal hope, Deepika Kumari, crashed out after losing to China. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.